Hello everybody, and welcome back to some All the Mod 7 to the Sky. How you guys doing today? I hope you are doing well. I am. So, last episode we got together and we made our way through FDB Industrial Contraptions. I've done a lot of work since then, but this thing is working well. I did go ahead and make one of our EV solar panels, and actually I've made two of them. I made that one and I've made this one. And it's keeping, it's more than enough power for what we're making. And we're making a bunch of scrap, which this thing I could probably give them some more overclocker upgrades and they'd work faster, but the antimatter is now squared away. We're up to 1,406 antimatter. I spent a lot of time doing some work in here night before last. As you can see, first off, our lava is now gone. I have started cleaning some of that stuff up. If we go in here, I've moved it in here. I dug out the other crucibles that we had and hooked them all up, and we're just generating lava in here now, so it's not all convoluted out there. And if we come out here, everything's still hooked up the exact same way. I just got rid of all the extra stuff that was here, so that's all nice and cleaned up. Also, you'll notice all of our phytogenic isolators are gone. I got to messing with those. We are in serious need of A, some insanium, and B, the rest of the stuff that we need to finish mystical agriculture, which all the different tiers of stuff. But the main thing is the insanium that we're going to need for the creative items. And we added all of these crystal growth the growth accelerators, not the crystal growth accelerators, and it was doing some work. And I was like, well, I've got some time, let's do our phytogenic isolator. So I got started setting those up, and if we go in here, you'll see they're all still sitting here. I went with plan B, and if we come over here to this guy, we will see plan B. So this is our new farming area. I use the hydroponic beds. These guys work with water, a little bit of power, and you can speed them up. And this is working phenomenal. As you can see, we've got stuff just piping through. The inferium is flowing, and it's flowing fast. And then I've got wheat going because we're going to be getting into mechanism here in just a minute, which is the reason why I've got the steel lined up. We're going to need a bunch of steel today, but we've got inferium crops. We've got the crops that we had sitting out yonder. Those are going. I set up some the dye seeds, because one of the things that I always kept missing was needing some dye. I've got honey seeds. We'll get into that in just a minute, and the mystical flowers. We'll get into that in just a minute. And then these guys will actually work with these, but you do need the cruxes. So while they'll work with these, they will not work with all the modium stuff. At least that I figured that they could. So up here, I've got these guys set up with the vibranium, the allthemodium, and the unobtainium. They are in here making making our nuggets and sending them back into our system. And then I moved this guy up here. Since all of our mystical agriculture stuff's in here, it's all good. Now, these things, you can provide them with ether gas, and it makes them harvest and replant. And I think it helps with the speed. I'm not sure. I didn't try it without it. But like I said, it is working fabulously. If we go in here to insanium, we had 600 when I started this, and about 3 hours, maybe 4 hours later, we're up to 2,300 insanium. So our insanium is taken care of now, and we can just let it go. So, but yeah, I've got all this stuff. I've got several different spots where these work. You can give this guy power, and it will power on down the line. But I did. It's a lot of power to pass through. So I do have different spots set up for power and for water to go in, and for the ether gas. That's what these are doing. Our ether gas production, he's still going, and even with these farms running, I can't spell, we're still gaining in the ether gas. Yeah, we're gaining more, so we're good to go there. And like I said, these guys we're going. I've got all of these set up to actually craft the items, so we don't have to worry about that. These I got it crafting to the Insanium and just sending the Insanium. We've got recipes set up to downcraft them, and then the Cruxes, or the ones with the Cruxes, I just set them up to go straight into the chest. And these guys back here, since we can make different items with them, I just have them going straight into the system, and we can craft what we need as we go. Now to the other part of why we've got the honey and stuff going. So I did finally get into breeding bees. Matter of fact, that's what I've done while all this other stuff was going. And if we go in here to our quest book, I've got almost all of the bees bred. It's fairly simple to do. Literally, it's taking, like this one, taking the resin and lumber bee or whatever, and putting them in here and breeding them and getting the baby, putting them in the incubator and growing it from a child to an adult, and then putting it into our beehive with whatever flower that it needs, and getting the honeycomb and going on about our business. Now, I do have a few of these running. We've got Enderium bee, because we're going to need a bunch of Enderium before it's done and over with. I got Terrasteel and Alfsteel going, because we need a handful of it so we can finish Botania. And then I got the Insanium bee. Now, these guys are a little bit different to make. So to make the Manasteel bee, we need the bee spawn egg. We needed an iron bee spawn egg. And to get the iron bee spawn egg, you need a honey treat with the gene for iron bee. And so basically what you do is you just place a bee type inside of here. This is the bottler. I have it set up with these guys just so we don't have to worry about them getting loose, and then you just squish them. And after you squish them, you get some you get a, let's go in here, productive, you get this guy right here, squashed bee material. You put the squashed bee material inside of the powered centrifuge, and you get a bunch of genes. You get weather tolerance, you can get the behavior, whether it's nocturnal or during the day, or work during both, productivity. This is how you can take your really good, or you take your bees and turn them into really good bees, or really great bees. And it's more work than I really want to do. It's a lot of squishing, and even doing what I needed to do to get the iron bee egg. We had to breed up about 6 different, I still got, maybe I don't. Maybe I used them all. We had to breed up about 6 different of the iron bees to squish to get enough. Each one of these has a percentage, and you have to craft the 2 of them together. If you take like this one, and that's normal, and this is 52, that's 46. You put them together, and you get 98, and you need to get it to 100 in order to do what you needed to do. And then after that, you put it in the incubator with the egg and the treat with the DNA, and it will give you the spawn egg. And then it was a matter of just crafting it with throwing this guy inside of the mana pool, this guy inside of there. I had to make 2 of these because I needed the Elementium one, and then I also needed to get the Terrasteel one. And the Elementium one is what we use to get the Alfsteel one. Like I said, it was a whole bunch of work. This is probably the hardest part of it. That, and to make the Insanium bee, we needed to get, it was the Insanium bee, we needed a spawn egg, which we go all the way back to the Prosperity bee. The Prosperity bee we could actually get from the Crystalline bee and something else. And had to spawn, or get a bunch of those, not spawn, but yeah, spawn a bunch of them, squish them, get what I needed in order to do that. And after that, it was fine. So, but yeah, most everything is just going through and combining two together. I still got a handful to do, not very much. So that's where we are with that. So a bunch of quests to complete. I think that's all we've got is just bee quests. So I can just go ahead and collect all the rewards. And like I said, we're pretty close now to that. Didn't give me much of anything, really. This guy can go up. All my bees are pretty much right here. We've got a few over here. These are ones that I had already bred or didn't need to use to breed. So yeah, there is all of that. One other thing bee-wise, I forgot to mention, I do have this all automated. I did finally switch these out to the advanced beehives. We had the bees going and we weren't doing anything with them. They were just more or less sitting here and doing its thing. So I've got these guys now. They're piping out the honeycombs and the honey drawers. These are set up with storage buses so we can see them inside of our system. We've got all this stuff hooked up now. Even that over there, we'll get into that in just a second. So we've got that. I do have a export bus putting making glass bottles and cycling them in and out of here. We've got 30-ish bees that are running in here and getting a bunch of honey. We could probably shut this all off and not have to worry about it. And then over here, we've got this set up. This pipe here is putting in glass bottles, and then I have this guy set up to export all of the combs, and the combs are going in here and being broke down into wax and whatever it is. Like the Enderium bee gives us Enderium dust. We get the Enderium dust from it, and then we get a little bit of liquid honey, and it automatically pushes out into this. So everything's automated. We can set this up with any bees that we want to. Like I said, each one of these has 5. We can switch this out and do a bunch more. I can switch this out over here with this setup, and we can put a whole bunch of bees over there. I don't know. There's a few other bees that I may want to use before we're done and over with, but for now, I've got going what I want to go. Alright, so one more thing before we get going. One of our miners has bit the dust. I come real close to losing all 3 of them. When I got busy doing that, went AFK, I completely forgot about these guys, and all of them were almost dead, and this one was gone. So it's not necessarily that big a deal at this point. So yeah, that's the thing. But now, as far as what we're going to do today, we are going to start working our way towards the Mekanism antimatter. That is our next big bit of business. We got a lot of stuff to do in order to do this. So first things first is we're going to need to get HDPE, the sheets, which the sheets we can get from the pellets. The pellets are what we need to get. So we're going to need some PRCs. We're going to need oxygen. We're going to need liquid ethylene. And we're going to need substrate. Substrate we get from a biofuel, which we get from any... That was the wrong thing. Basically any vegetable kind of plant, any kind of vegetation. We're going to go with wheat because that's what I have growing right now. So wheat is what we are going to use. And to make the biofuel, we've got the pulse grinder, and we can do it with the crusher. I don't know which way we're going to do it just yet. We'll figure it out. But we're going to need hydrogen, and then that's just water. So yeah, we're going to need a bunch of these guys. Now my plan is to set this stuff up and try to run as much of it through Applied Energistics as we can to keep all this as nice and neat as we can. So I'm going to get to work. I'll be back. Alright, so we are back, and we are ready to do this. This might be way overcomplicated for what we're going to need, but so at the same time, it is probably one of the cleanest setups that I have done. So, let's start from the beginning, shall we? Let's go inside of here. So, I have this guy set up in here. Electrolytic separator. It is making hydrogen, which is full up, and it's making oxygen, which is not filled up just yet. We can set this to dump excess. That way this thing will stay full. It'll keep going. But these guys, the quantum entangled porters, I could not get them to hold more than one gas. I don't know if it's a thing or not. So we've got one set to oxygen, one set to hydrogen, and like I said, these guys will hold a whole bunch of stuff. Matter of fact, if we go in Hera, yeah, we've got 6,000 buckets of oxygen and 8,000 buckets of hydrogen, and that's just what's being stored in the quantum entangler porters. So I've got this guy running, speed upgrades, all that, and it's, like I said, it's going into our system. Let's go look at that. So I did make, I made some... Where are they at? I moved all of these guys down here that we had up there. As you can see, our little pole is now just a pole, and that's it. But if we come down here, I've got all these guys moved down here. I've got some more set up. I've been having problems crafting the 256K drives. I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out. It'll craft the disc part, but then it won't craft the housing part to put them together. I'm having a problem with that and with these guys here, so I can craft them up and be done with them. But I had these guys set up here to hold the chemicals, and then I realized we've already got a spot. I wanted to see if they could store them. So I put a storage bus on these guys, and we need to set the priority on these just to make sure that they go here first. But we've got the one with oxygen and the one with hydrogen, and it's being stored in our system, and that is lovely. As you can see, it is working rather well, which is nice. I also hooked up the lithium that we have up there, wherever it's at. I don't know. Our platform, I didn't pay attention when I built the platform, and our platforms got turned around all kinds of weird ways. This should have been running that way instead of running this way. But over here, we've got our crusher. I've got a import bus set up with wheat, and then export bus on back, taking the biofuel and just putting it into the system. That just makes it so where we've always got biofuel. It's going to suck if we need any wheat, but we can always grow wheat. But yeah, we have that. I did not make a factory out of this because this is more than enough to keep this guy going. So yeah, that's the thing. I need to put some speed upgrades in this guy here. We need some more acceleration cards. Let's make 20 of them. And it shouldn't take too long to do what I need to do. There we go. That guy can go in here. Where did they go? Right there. Anyways, I've got this guy, an export bus connected to it. It is pulling out water, hydrogen, and the biofuel. And putting it all in here. This I have set to everything to input in the bottom and then output on the back side of it. I do have the ethylene that's being produced in here. It is going out, but it is also going in here. So this is keeping full, and any excess ethylene that we need or that we've got is actually going inside of our system. So if we come to a point where either we not using it for anything or need it for like the gas burning generator that we can look at, I don't necessarily need the gas burning generator, but yeah, it's it's storing in our ME system. And then I do have an export bus on this guy. Do I? I may not have. Yeah, export bus going into here, and then this being stocked with the liquid ethylene with a export bus with the substrate and the oxygen. going into there and just being imported back into the system, where we're getting our HDPE pellets, and then I have the enrichment chamber set up with the pattern for the HDPE sheets. This is probably the best way to do it. With this, you can either craft them as 9 or run them through the enrichment chamber with 3. Now, what I have learned is if you try to do it with the factories and accidentally, like where we've got the enrichment factory over here, wherever it may be, this guy, right, that's crushing factory, enrichment factory, where we have the auto sort on for when we need a whole bunch of stuff, it will actually separate them out, and then it becomes an issue. And so I just set up one by itself, so now we can just go in here and craft up 10 of these, and we've got HDPE taken care of, and that is the quest. So, like I said, pretty clean setup for what I have done compared to what I've done before in the past. You do not have to change any of these to gas or fluid like you do with refined storage. It just automatically recognizes everything, which is lovely. The only thing is you need the chemical or the fluid drives in order to store it. So yeah, we've got all of that taken care of. So let's go ahead and complete our quest. We got this guy. I went back and crafted this guy because we had already got to that point. Enrichment chamber we have made. PRCs, we've made a bunch of those today. Electrolytic separator, we made one of those today. Water source, of course, we made a bunch of sinks. Purification chamber, I made this. We're not even using it right now. We'll have to use it eventually, I think. So, but we've got our crusher. This is actually the setup getting us to, this is the setup for doubling ores, or, yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, this triples it somewhere along the way. I don't know what it is. This is either the 3 times, 4 times, and then 5 times, I think is what it is. So, but yeah, we're not worried about all of that. We're already doing all of that and not having to have the convoluted setup for all that. And then we can go click there and we're ready to move on about our next bit of business, which is not going to be making all that. Well, we're going to have to make all this to get through the quest, but not to do that. I do think I am going to go ahead and make the gas burning generator. And we can see just exactly how much of this, or how much this thing actually makes. So there is that guy. We can get rid of a bunch of this stuff. I don't need it right now. Gas burning generator. Do we still have room in? This is one of those things that I've got to get. Yeah, we still got room for that. Let's just go down here and we'll place it that's got plenty of channels for the moment. Let's get us a export bus and a cable, and then let's set this guy to our ethylene, and that didn't do us a whole bit of good because we're already filled up with power. Flux. I need recipe. I need a few of those. We're going to need a few more than that. We need one of these guys and then one of these. And if we connect this to that, that's 19,000 RF a tick. So that's not actually that bad. And as far as our ethylene goes, we're not really burning through that much of it. So not a bad way of getting power once you get to this point. We don't need it. Alright, so that's kind of where we're going to leave everything at. We've got the one for the gas burning generator. I did go ahead and make, I made the muffler upgrade for the crusher. So I I just went ahead and made all the other upgrades while I was at it. And that kind of leaves us to where we are at now. We are getting pretty close to being done with our mechanism parts. We still got to go through and make all this stuff, which we're going to get through a lot of that as we go through the next part of what we're going to be doing, which is going to be heading towards fissile fuel. That is next. We need to get to fissile fuel so we can get our reactor set up, so we can start getting into the antimatter. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!